There we go. Thank you. Yeah. See, Aiden, you helped and you didn't even have to remind me. I'm just
I
like,
just looked and I was like, and then you're just automatically like, bam.
You guys have telepathic powers.
We do, Aiden. We should go on the road with this, make some money.
I don't know how that would go.
I don't think it would work very well, but you'd be like, what number am I thinking of? I'd be like, I don't know, 4. Nope, not right. Okay, anyway. All right, so Luke is here, Evan's here. Yay, thank you. Ooh, caramel ribbon crunch. That sounds good. Okay, so today we're going to talk about geometry formulas and then the circumference scatter plot assignment. So this is what's due. Who's here? Ooh, Callie's in space.
I got 1 out of 3 assignments.
Callie, you have no space suit on. Oh my gosh. Oh, we lost Caleb. Okay. So, yeah, so this is what is due this week. You have obviously the live lesson today. This one ideally should be done, and I graded a whole lot of them, so I'm assuming most of you guys are done. Question, Annabelle?
It says May 13th.
Oh, yeah, this, good catch. I actually, I'm lazy, and I use the same picture from yesterday's live lesson with the other 8th grade group, just because that would be the only thing that changes. So yeah, you guys are May 14th, which is today. But thank you. Very observant. I like that. Attention to detail. Yes. Today we're going to talk about the geometry formulas, and honestly, I think this assignment, if you're not done, it's a really good one just to get done. Get out of the way as soon as class is over. Because oh my gosh, I do. You guys are the greatest. Like in the other class, it's hello, are you guys there? Hello. You guys are so on. I love it. You're amazing, and you make me laugh 24/7. It's so fun. Poor Helen, though, she's getting eaten by a pug. Oh no. You guys. Oh no. So much love. So much love. Okay. And then we'll start, or I'll explain how to do this circumference scatter plot, just in case you're confused on it, because there's a lot of steps. I also made a video to help you guys out. I'll put it on Moodle. So, yeah. I already made it yesterday. I just gotta upload it. Oh, sorry, Beth. Okay. So the first formula we're going to talk about is actually one that we've already done before. This is the Pythagorean theorem, okay? And this is a way that we can solve right triangles only, okay? This formula is only used to help us find a missing side length in a right triangle. What's a right triangle? What's a right triangle? It's the right way. That is true. What's a right triangle? How do you know you have a right triangle? One right angle. Yeah, Helen, you got it. Annabelle, anything to add?
Well, most of the time with a right angle, the little loop, the longest part of the angle is always to the right.
Yeah. You're so right. 90 degrees. You guys are hitting all the points. Very, very good. Hello. Hello. So a right triangle has one right angle. And as Annabelle was saying, right across from that right angle is that longest side of the triangle. Another word for that is the hypotenuse. Another word for it is the hippopotamus. No, I'm just kidding. It's really not, but I've heard people say that. Oh, that's okay, Taylor. No problem. Do the best you can. I didn't kick you out, I promise. But I understand. Everybody's internet is super weird lately. That's how mine has. Oh, I can't look outside because it's so gloomy. It makes me yawn. Okay, so longest side across from that right angle is the hypotenuse. That's the longest side of the triangle. Okay, so right triangle has a hypotenuse. And the way we can solve for either a missing hypotenuse or missing legs is to do the Pythagorean theorem. And the Pythagorean theorem tells us to take the legs and then square them and add them together. Switch to, oh boy, yeah. Oh, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, we want to focus on this for now because this is how you get through what you have to do this week. I am so sorry for whoever keeps getting kicked out and back in. I don't know if that was Taylor again. Yeah, I apologize. If I could fix it, I would. And then it's equal to the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so in this triangle right here, what are we missing in this triangle? What do we need to solve? Do we need a hypotenuse or the legs? Or a leg, not the legs, a legs.
A leg.
Well, and that's what they said last class too. It's very hard to identify that. Which side is missing? We have two legs, right? Because the vertical side and the horizontal side, they both have numbers there. So which side?
Hypotenuse.
We're missing the hypotenuse. Yeah, you're totally right. So since we're missing the hypotenuse, we're just going to follow the Pythagorean theorem kind of exactly as it's written. We're going to take a leg and square it, and then we're going to add it to the other leg squared. And that'll give us the hypotenuse squared. And honestly, from here, once you set up the Pythagorean theorem, the easiest thing to do is just to head to Desmos. Because you just type it on in. Desmos, where are you? Okay, so then we're going to type in 15 squared plus 8 squared. And that gives us 289. Now, here's what's tricky. That 289 is not my answer, right? It's not my final answer. So this is equal to 289 is equal to that hypotenuse squared. What do I have to do to get rid of that squared to get what just x equals?
You have to get rid of the square that's on the x.
You're so right. That's what you have to do. You got to get rid of it. What's the opposite of squaring something?
Dividing it?
You'd think so. That's a very logical thing, right? But it's not dividing it because when you square something, you multiply by itself.
Square root?
Yes, Helen and Ben, you guys are right. Grant, you totally would think you divide by 2. That's what everybody thinks. You're so right. We want to actually square root it. That helps you figure out what was multiplied by itself to give you the answer. So we're going to take the square root of that. So we are left with x is equal to the square root of 289. I'm going to head to Desmos. Oh my gosh, I have so many like windows open and stuff. So many like things to navigate. So I'm going to type in square root of 289 and you're left with 17 is your missing side. 17. Cool. So it's just a matter of if you're missing the hypotenuse, all you have to do is add the legs together, square the legs, add them together, and then take the square root. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of review. I know we did do it, but you haven't seen it in a while, so I get it if you're a little confused. Little confuzzled. Now it's a little bit different when you're missing a leg. So guys, look over at this next example. How do I know we're missing a leg? My leg. That makes me think of Lord of the Rings. You guys know that part where he's like, what about their legs? They don't need those. Okay, Annabelle, yes.
Because one of the sides doesn't have a number on it.
Right. Very, very good. Wouldn't that be just something you would know? Yes, Ben, you're right there. But yeah, Annabelle said that. She said one of the sides of the triangle does not have a number, so we're missing a leg. And guys, just make sure you're aware of where the hypotenuse is. It's always the longest side across from the 90-degree angle. So this 10 is your hypotenuse. They aren't the same length. You're right. That's strange. Now, there's two ways to do this problem, and I'm going to show you both. One way I think is like the more equation algebra way, and one way I think is a little easier just to type in and get done. So I'll show you the algebra way first. Okay, so we're going to write down our formula. Our formula says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to fill in the legs that I have. So I have a 6, so 6 squared. I'm missing my b, so b squared equals 10 squared. So that's the first step, is I just fill in the parts of the formula that I have. Now I'm going to do a little simplifying. What is 6 squared? What's 6 times 6?
36.
36, good job. Oh, this class is so awesome with how you guys all participate. I love that so much. What about 10 squared? What's 10 squared?
100.
100, yeah, very good. Okay, so now we're at the kind of the equation solving. That's okay, Ben. I knew what you meant. We're at the equation solving step now. So how do I get that b squared by itself? What would I do to both sides of my equation here?
Subtract.
Yeah, what would I subtract?
36.
Yep.
Subtract by 100.
Yeah, you're totally right. So I want to get rid of the 36 from the b squared side. So I'm going to subtract it, and now I'm left with b squared is 64. Now all we have to do is just get rid of that squared. What's the opposite of squaring something?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe square rooting it.
Boom, he's got it. So square root, we get b is equal to 8. Now that way is not hard. It's just a little bit more work, I think. What you could also do is we could kind of notice a little pattern here, okay? So when you're missing the hypotenuse, you just add the legs squared and take the square root. When you're missing a leg, okay, when you're missing a leg, what also you can do is you would take your formula, go to the doctor, yes, no, I'm just kidding. But what we would do, see from the formula, if I wanted to solve for one of the legs, I would subtract it. So the formula almost turns into c squared equals, it would be b squared. Like if I solved it for b squared, I would move that a squared to the other side, and I'm left with c squared minus a squared. So anytime you're missing a leg, you're going to start with your hypotenuse squared and then subtract the other leg that you know. Okay, then it's just a matter of either typing it straight into Desmos or just doing the math. Oh, I said 64. That is way wrong. 36. When you miss a leg, yeah, it's important stuff here, Aiden. So then you're going to take the square root and you get 8 equals b. So sometimes it's a little easier just to to be like, okay, if I'm missing a hypotenuse, I add the legs. If I'm missing a leg, I start with the hypotenuse and subtract the leg. So it's just kind of the opposite of one another. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think so.
Don't go missing legs, you guys.
It's like if Ben like loses a leg, he'll be like, hold on, don't call 911. Let me do the Pythagorean theorem first.
Wait,
I
I
mean-
just need to subtract my other leg now.
But he's like, why Ben? Just cause we feel like you could handle it. No.
Because you said go to the doctor.
If you're missing a leg, go to the doctor. This is true. Oh, Madison number is calling me. So I'm going to hand it to my husband. Troy, I figured out how to make you a background in Zoom. So all of a sudden, your face was the background. I'll show you later.
Oh, you should do it when that should just be his background now.
I should. I'm going to do it.
It's him behind himself.
Scammer people. Oh boy. Here, Troy, come check this out. I gotta show him how I'm gonna make him. Hold on, guys. Minute.
This is very important.
This is important stuff.
That's really messed up. That's really messed up.
I didn't even know I tried it, and I was like, whoa! It was just saved
I'm
as me.
watching all of you.
Yeah, he can be my eyes. He can be like, do your math. Wow. Okay. Anyway. Does that make sense for the Pythagorean theorem, you guys? Are there any questions? Oh, someone joined. Please say no if you have no questions.
No.
Again, this is a pattern designed by some guy named Pythagoras many, many years ago.
And he had a theorem.
He had a theorem.
No, his pet was named Theorem.
His pet, ooh, that's a good one. I wonder if that's where it came from. It's like, I have a theorem. Dum-dum-dum-dum. Okay. Another formula is the midpoint formula. Now, this formula comes up in geometry. Oh my gosh, you guys will see this a lot next year. And it's not bad. It's like the average, okay? Seriously, that's what we're thinking. So if we have, let's say we plotted these 2 points on the coordinate grid. So -4, 2, and then 3, 6. Okay, so these are my, this is what I plotted. Okay, and for some reason, I need to find the middle of that. I want to know what is exactly in the middle. Because sometimes when you have to find, you know, in geometry, there's different theorems that go with having a midpoint. So it's very important, relates to building stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Sometimes when you're calculating distances, you know, this could even be like different, let's say you're at the lake and this is the really good fishing spot you're trying to get to, and this is where your boat is. So here's a boat, draw a boat, woohoo, I'm in a boat. And I want to calculate what is halfway to the fishing spot because that's when I'm going to, I don't know, get my gear ready or something. Or maybe there's a different type, a really cool thing to see. There's a shark waiting for me halfway. I don't know. Even though sharks don't live in lakes, I know. But it's useful to know. So we basically want to know the average between the x and the y. That's what the midpoint is. So thank you, Aiden. Lake sharks, those are big deal. Oh my gosh, lake sharks. But so what we want to do is we want to find the average of your x values and the average of your y values. The formula tells me to add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. And remember, every single ordered pair is in the form of xy. So what am I going to add here? Ooh, yeah, maybe they put sharks in there. If I made a lake, I would include lake sharks. I would find a way. Maybe they would be robotic. Yeah. Because I know how to do that, right? No. But what are my x's that I would add here for R and for S? What are my x values?
X1 plus X2.
Yep, those tell me that I have to add the first x value plus the second x value. So what are they according to points R and S?
-4, 3.
Yes, very good. We're going to add -4, because that's the first value, that's my x, plus 3, and then divide by 2. That'll tell me the x value of my point in the middle.
What do you do with the 6?
What do we do with the 6? What do you guys think? So that's going to be our next coordinate, right? Because the 6 is a y value.
Y1, so like 2 plus 6?
Yes, very good. We're going to add 2 plus 6 divided by 2. That's going to be my y value for the midpoint. Because remember, the midpoint is both an x and a y. The x tells you how far over. The y tells you how far up or down. Very good. So let's do the math then. What is -4 plus 3? What would that be?
-1.
Right? And then divided by 2, it's just -1/2. You can either leave it like that or put it as -0.5. It's up to you, whatever makes more sense with graphing. Math Excel usually wants to see fractions, usually, so just read the print under the answer box. It'll tell you if they want you to enter a fraction or whatever. And what about this next one? 6 plus 2.
8.
8 divided by 2?
4.
4. Very good. So that means my midpoint, the middle of the lake where I'm going to encounter this lake shark, where I'm going to meet my doom. Oh, look at that. I drew it pretty exact. That is the midpoint.
You don't have to like go straight. You can just go around. Like it's a lake. It's round.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's like alligators over here. And
Then you
piranha,
should just get out of that lake.
right? That I wouldn't
to be
swim in.
honest.
This is the lake shark.
Just
Oh,
don't go to Florida.
look at my shark. It's a good shark. You know what? I should show you guys my picture. I was drawing pictures with my daughter, and she told me to draw a really angry shark. And I'm really good at copying pictures on like Google Images, but like you can see my art when I come up with stuff on my own. It's questionable. But we decided the shark was so angry she wanted to make it pretty. So she drew like a crown on it, and it's like this really angry shark. It's really funny. And she drew dress on it, and yeah. So
Don't go to Florida and you won't have to deal with the lake alligators.
yeah,
And
lake
have
shark.
you seen Tiger King?
I have seen Tiger King.
Because I was about to be like, and Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Oh man.
Killed her husband, whacked him. I've been on TikTok way too much.
Right. I know there's a lot of Carol Baskin parody songs. Does that make sense for the midpoint theorem, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, not too bad. The next one is, I believe, our last formula, which is the distance formula. And it looks really creepy and awful. Do you guys see that? Like it looks gross, but that's okay.
Disgusting.
It does. It looks D for disgusting formula, right?
That's
Yeah.
that.
It does. It just looks icky, but it's okay because we have really good technology, Desmos, where you can just type it in there and it'll tell you what it is. Super easy. So all we got to do is set it up. That's it. So according to the formula, and the formula tells us it'll find the length of the distance from our boat to our fishing destination. That's what it'll tell us. So the formula tells us, and I'm going to just set it up with a big radical or square root symbol. I'm going to have to subtract my x's and then square them, and then add them to my y's subtracted and then squared. So that part of the formula remains the same. All you're going to fill in is the x2, x1, y2, y1. So what is my second x value? From the formulas there.
3.
3. 3 is in my second point, and it's an x value. So 3. What's my first x value? Yeah, you were, Ben. Good job with the numbers. All right.
-4.
-4. Now this is tricky. Thanks, Callie. Very good. Very good. Helen's clapping for you, Ben. Very good. So this is tricky, guys. See how the formula says minus? We're putting in a -4. So we want to do that, okay? Don't let that confuse you. Don't be like, oh, there's already a minus there. No, you have to put in both, okay? Now, what is my second y value?
6.
6. 6 is my second y value. What's my first y value?
Anyone else gonna answer?
You can do this. 2. Callie says 2, and Helen says 2. Yay! So 2. Very good. So we've set it up. Now we can do order of operations and do the parentheses first, but if you're like me and you're like, I'm tired, my brain doesn't want to work, you know, it's okay. Go to Desmos. It's totally allowed. I always do that. I write right in the middle where I'm trying to, I always do that. Okay. So we're just going to type it in exactly like it shows in the distance formula. We have to start with the radical sign. So go work your way from left to right. On the left is the radical sign, so start there. And then parentheses, 3 minus a -4 squared plus, and I'll move my writing as soon as I type it in there. 6 minus 2 squared. And I'm really clear my writing. I was like, what was I gonna do? Okay. So there we go. So you're gonna get a decimal for this, and that's okay because I already went through the assignment with someone, and Math Excel totally is fine with decimals, so we're good there. So yeah, so then they might tell you to round it to the nearest 10th. What would this be if you rounded it to the nearest 10th? What would our distance be?
8.1.
8.1. Good job. What if they said round to the nearest 1,000th?
8,000. No, 8. No, I don't know.
It's okay.
Wouldn't it be 8.062?
Very good. 1,000th has 3 places. And the 2 next to that other 2 that you round to, it tells it to just stay the same because it's under 5. Good. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I don't think Math Excel goes to the thousands.
They're actually, I know, that's why I brought it up, because I thought it was really weird, because if I remember straight, there was a question in there where it does have you round to the nearest 1,000th. Then the next question says round to the nearest 10th. So when I was working with the person, we kept getting it wrong, and we were like, what? And then we looked closely, and we were like, oh my gosh, really? Math Excel. So that could happen. I know, it's weird. Usually they don't do that. You're so right.
That's what happened to me too. I like kept getting it wrong, and then I checked my answer like a bunch of times, and I was like, I swear this is the answer.
Yeah.
And then it like told me what I did wrong, and it was like round to the nearest tenth. I was like, are you kidding me?
And then it's annoying because you got to type it in again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like one question. It's so so just beware of the thousandth and the rounding place questions. I don't think you're supposed to. No. I feel like that would be fun to do, but sadly, no. Okay. Now, does anybody have questions with those three formulas? Because what I would like to do is I would like to move on to talking about your homework. But if you want to go through, I have 2 more examples of those. But personally, I feel like you guys did a really good job asking questions, and maybe I'll just move on. And if you want to go through it, just hang out. So, okay. So for your circumference scatter plot assignment, it sounds super duper involved, but it's not bad at all. It really isn't. Okay, so what you're gonna need for this assignment, question, Annabelle?
What if you don't have 10 circular objects?
You know, maybe just like draw some circles then and measure that. Like, that's what I would do. I would just draw a circle and like be like, this is about what the opening of a cup would be. Or, you know, just draw a few different sizes of circles. That's okay.
Don't
So-
draw a rectangle.
Don't draw a rectangle. Yeah, that would not work for this assignment. So what you're gonna do, okay, is it's up there now, you guys. So what you're gonna do is you're going to pick 10 different circular objects to measure. Okay, so like for example here, I have a plate that, oh, you can't really tell. Hold on. I'm gonna turn off my video
The invisible
background.
plate.
It's an invisible plate that goes to the beach. There we go. So you have a plate here, okay? That's one of the things that I could choose to put in the assignment. And you're going to need, it says a tape measure. If you don't have a tape measure, I think it actually works better to take like a string, piece of yarn, a cloth belt, dental floss, whatever you have. No, don't, that would be kind of gross, but that would work, I suppose. You know, depends what you need. But you're going to measure 2 different things on this object in centimeters. Clean dental floss. I should say that, Helen. That's a good point. So when you measure, okay, you can either take your tape measure or your string and then just put it next to a ruler. We're measuring in centimeters, remember. But you're going to measure the diameter of your circular object. And what's the diameter again? Yeah, diameter goes across. Okay, so you're going to go across your circular object. You're going to measure from one side to the other, and it's got to go through the center. And there might be a little bit of error because we don't know exactly where the center is, you know, but that's okay. Do the best you can. So the first thing is diameter. You're going to go from one side to the other in centimeters. Okay? I think it's easiest. For this part, you could just use the ruler. But you could go this way too. That's a good point. Yeah, either one for diameter. It's just got to go from one side to the other and through the center. Then you're going to measure the circumference, which is the distance around your circular object. This is where it's really handy to have a string or something, because all you have to do is just wrap it around, take it off, pull your string, and then measure it on the ruler. Okay? Any questions about like the measuring part? Okay. Then, and if you follow on Moodle, it actually goes step by step with how to do it. I have slides, but I think I'm just going to show you. It actually shows you how to do it step by step. It's really nice how it's laid out. That's how I went through it, because some of these assignments are new to me because I just started teaching this course this year. But if you follow this, tells you exactly how to set it up. So you're going to go and you're going to start a Google spreadsheet. And the way that you do that is if you click on your email, okay, and you guys see these little dots up here? Right here, guys, see the dots? That's where you're going to click on to get to the Sheets. You're going to go to Google Sheets. And then you're going to start a blank one. Okay. And then here you're going to label it. So I would label it Gen circumference scatter plot. And then the top you can set up exactly like how it shows in Moodle. So you're going to have a column that says object, diameter, circumference, and then circumference divided by diameter. Okay, and I'll actually show you the one that I did already. Here we go. This is the one that I did. This is the one I showed in the video. Okay. My daughter's yelling at my son for washing his hands, or not washing his hands. It's really cute. He'll be like, I did. And she's like, I didn't hear the water. It's just funny. So guys, if you want to highlight, like I clicked on the one and I went and I changed the font size and made it bold. So if you want to do it for the whole column, you totally can. Even if you wanted to like change the color. So let's say I changed it to blue or something, made it italic, made it like size 36. No, I'm just kidding. That wouldn't work very well. But, you know, you could do that. And then if you click between, can you guys see how my arrow changes when I click between the A and the B? You guys see that? So if I hold that down, I can widen or shorten that column width. Okay, so play around with that as you make it. But these were my different objects. Okay, and what's really cool, I'm going to delete this so I can show you guys. You guys don't even have to do the math to do the circumference divided by the diameter. That's actually a formula, a very easy formula you guys can type in. Okay, and I show you in the video, and I'll show you really quick now just so I have it. See how like this 7, see when I click on it, it highlights the letter and then the number of the column and then the row that it's in. That 7 is in column C2. Okay, so I'm going to use that to create the formula. So my formula is going to say equals, and I want to divide the circumference divided by the diameter. And the first circumference is in C2. So I'm going to say C2, oops, 2. Then I'm going to use the little slash for the division symbol. See how it pops up there? It's pretty cool. And what do you guys think I want to divide that one by? What would the next one be called? Yeah, B2. Very good. I'm going to divide by B2. And see how that one highlights? And then I hit enter, and boom, it does it for me. Now, if I change the circumference, let's say I'm like, oh man, I made a mistake. It's really supposed to be 16 centimeters. Hit enter, and it adjusts it for you. Super cool. I love that stuff. And you don't even have to retype it. Okay, watch this. You click on the column, and then see this little dot on the lower right-hand side. If you click on that, hold it, and pull it down, it records it down. It like fills it down for you. Isn't that cool? That's so cool. Oh my gosh.
We have technology.
I love spreadsheets. Love it. And this is in the video that I made. I'll put it on Moodle to show you. But the next part, you know, it's just following steps. And if I were you, I would go on Moodle and read and just follow step by step. Now we're going to add a scatter plot chart to your spreadsheet to follow these steps. So all you have to do is you're going to highlight everything in the B and C column, okay? And you're going to go to Insert, Chart, takes a minute to pop up. And you're going to go over here to the chart editor and you're going to change the chart type to scatter plot. And it plots a scatter plot for you. Excuse me. And then if you read the directions, it tells you how to go to Customize at the top and the chart axis titles. So you can put the chart title on there, circumference, scatter, plot. Okay, and then you can change, see how there's a drop-down menu for chart title. We can go to horizontal axis. The horizontal axis is your X, that's going to be your diameter in centimeters. Then you can change your vertical axis to circumference in centimeters. Look at that. And the very last thing, oh, I clicked off of it. I just have to double click to get it back. That's it. Is you're going to go to Series and just click the little button at the bottom for the trend line. And it brings up that line. Okay, and then this is all the technology piece that you have to do. You're going to share it with me, put the link in your assignment and all that. And then when it has you do that, the next part, remember that's just a matter of picking 2 points off of there. First, you got to find the slope. Then you're going to put it into y equals mx plus b to get that formula. And that's from what we already did. And if you guys need help with that, let me know. I will help you. You could even send me an email that says, here's my chart. Can you help me come up with the trend line? I would be happy to do that. Oh, you can change the color of the dots. That's cool. Oh, look at that. That's so pretty. Super fun. So, does that make sense, you guys? It's a lot of steps. That's why I would follow what's written on Moodle, because it really lays it out nicely and it has pictures. So, yeah, I made this part in a video and it'll also be on the end of today's live session video. So please refer back to it.